Welcome to the Marriage, Kids, and Money podcast, everybody. This is Andy Hill, and today we're talking about adoption and how you can afford it without going into debt. Around 140,000 children are adopted in the U.S. each year. This is not only a big family decision for parents, but it is a huge financial one as well. Today, we're going to talk to a couple that went down this path not once, but 3 times in 4 years, and they did it without going into debt. Amanda and Jonathan Teixeira are the spousal duo behind Wallet Win, a platform dedicated to helping people get out of debt, build wealth, and transform the world through generosity. This Omaha-based couple now has 3 daughters, Josie, Charlotte, Ellie, and a crazy but lovable Labrador retriever named Wrigley. Welcome to the show, Jonathan and Amanda.
Thanks for
having
us,
us,
Andy.
It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. Let's talk right away. So why did you guys decide to become adoptive parents?
It was a long story. We got married in
2011.
So we'll tell you the short version so we can get into the adoption. Ultimately, in our first year of marriage, we were trying to grow our family, and we just began to realize it wasn't going to happen for us. I began to have tests, and as did Jonathan, to see what might be going on with our fertility. And there were a number of things affecting both of us. And we tried different treatments and surgeries and medicines and protocols and diets, and the list goes on, until about it was probably 2 years into that journey where I just said emotionally, I've had enough. I don't necessarily need to have a biological child. I just want to be a mom. And so what other options are out there for us to become parents? Mm-hmm. And you were feeling that draw too. And we had discussed adoption even in engagement about being something that we thought we wanted to do at some point. We just never knew when. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of like the seed got planted early on. Things just weren't going our way in those first early years. And we just decided, okay, well, this is a lever we're going to pull a lot earlier than we thought we would. We did a podcast episode tallying up between the adoption and all the infertility expenses. And it was well over 6 figures for both of them. Equally expensive to pursue both routes.
Mm-hmm. Just a lot of doctor's appointments, a lot of
oh my goodness.
Ultrasounds and scans and all sorts of things just to kind of try to figure out what was going on, and then try to time everything right, and it just never came together.
Yeah, and then as you guys were going through some of those financial difficulties and emotional difficulties with becoming parents, did you start to research adoption, and then you were aware of those financial ramifications as well? How did those discussions happen between you guys?
I don't really remember. One of us probably looked it up, probably Amanda, because she enjoys facts and details. And it's like, oh, okay, there's this cost, and there's this one, and this one, and this one. And early on, we thought, all right, well, let's go down this path. I guess it has a price tag attached to it. There's a cost that we will incur, but let's go for it.
Thankfully, in our first couple of years of marriage, right away out the gate after we came home from the honeymoon, we tallied up what debt we owed. We started budgeting. We made a plan to pay it off. So in year 1 of getting married, we were debt free. By the end of year 2, we had our full emergency fund ready to go. And by year 3, we had purchased our first home. So we were in a position to make some decisions financially for moving forward with adoption because we'd gotten healthy. So many other couples that we knew were in a similar boat, but they had a $30,000 student loan and $20,000 in credit cards chaining them down. And that hurt our hearts so badly because they had chains holding them back from stepping forward.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about, so you guys were in a good financial situation after a couple years of being married, but this is a cost that I guess not everybody has to plan for as parents. So how did you guys save up enough money? And then talk to me about the financials. Like what does it cost to adopt a child in your situation?
So we've adopted 3 times now, and each time it's cost different amounts, and we've had different times to prepare. On average, if you are going to do a domestic infant adoption, which is kind of the normal when people think of adopting a baby in the United States, you're looking at anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000. If you're going to pursue maybe foster or a private match, it could be anywhere from free up to $10,000 or $15,000. And then if you're going to look at international, you're now thinking $30,000 to $70,000. So it is a very, most people don't just have that lying under the mattress for like a rainy day.
Can you tell me? So I think I understand why foster care might be the least expensive option between domestic and international. Why is there such a big cost difference?
If you're going to do a domestic adoption, there's just a lot of paperwork that goes into that. If you're in one state, there's a lot of paperwork, but then if you're working with one state and then the adoption's in another state, there's more paperwork. And then, my goodness, if you now bring in another country with all their different systems and protocols and ways of reporting things, and it's just, again, it's a lot longer of a process, and that incurs more legal fees and more red tape and more paperwork. And so not only is the length of time longer, but it is just more costly to go down that route.
Yeah, in all of these situations, the big costs that are going on are the cost of preparing and filing paperwork, and there's mountains of it. And in here, like right in America, right, all the adoption laws are state specific. So if you're in two states, now you need somebody in each state doing paperwork, maybe a third person doing the interfacing between those two parties. And then, if another country, then you've got at least one set of people over there doing their paperwork and however that's organized, and then more people interfacing. And that cost can really add up.
Wow. And so which route did you guys decide to go for your 3 children?
So our 3 girls were all domestic infant adoptions.
Private matches.
Yeah, I like how you guys broke it down into those 3 areas to help people understand domestic, foster, and international. How did you guys make that difficult decision of which route to go down?
Well, I think it boiled down to we knew that we wanted to become parents and that the end goal was to grow our family. And international, that was looking like years down the road. And then with foster, the ultimate goal is reunification with their biological family. And we completely support that and understand that and are on board with that. And someday we hope to foster, but we just knew that our first go at becoming parents, getting attached and then reunifying, we probably were not going to be prepared for that. I think later on in our life we will be, but we just weren't that first go around.
Yeah, well, it's a beautiful step that you guys have taken. You are now parents to 3 beautiful girls. That's so incredible. Let's talk about how you guys financially made this happen. So we talked about some of the costs that are associated with domestic adoption, between $20,000 and $50,000 per child. Oh my God! So you guys had some good financial, base that you were building on. You've got an emergency fund. You got no debt in your lives, but this is a lot of money. So how did you guys, save up this amount in order to do it? And it sounds like you did it without debt. So talk to me about how you did that.
Yeah, absolutely without debt. So, for us, that was the only option. There was no option to take on debt to do this. We believed that debt just makes things more complicated, more stressful, and we knew we were going to be entering into a time of life with all sorts of unexpected things happening and stressors and not much sleep and all these things. So we just didn't want to add in the extra stress of bringing on more debt. And we'd recommend that for other folks thinking about it. But that leaves the question then of, well, how do you pay for it then? At the time, we worked for a campus ministry organization. We fundraised our salary as part of that. And so that's an interesting way to get paid. But one of the upsides of it is you can go get a raise. You just go do more fundraising. So we worked on that. We worked and got, I guess you could call it, we got a raise. And then we did a specific fundraiser for the adoption.
There's a book by Julie Gum called Adopt Without Debt. And I read the whole thing. And I'm not going to lie, a lot of the options in the book were a poor return on investment for your time. Spend 90 hours planning a bake sale and get $500. And so those options did not appeal to me. But I saw a particular idea of an adoption puzzle fundraiser. So you create a beautiful graphic on the front of this puzzle, and on the back, anybody who donates, you'll write their name. And now it's just this beautiful memorial to the child that you're adopting about all the people that loved them and wanted them to come home to their family.
Yeah. So we did I did a design of some quote, and then we got that custom printed on a puzzle, and then people could sponsor a puzzle piece for $25. So it was a 1,000-piece puzzle, $25 a piece. And then when they would donate, we write their name on the back, and then now we have it framed, between two pieces of glass. So you can see the front, and you flip it over, you can see all the people who helped, bring our family together and bring that child home.
So we had that combination of increasing our income. Of course, we trimmed out unnecessary expenses. The Chipotle budget decreased that month or several months leading up to that. Yes, a sacrifice. And then we were fundraising, not knowing when we would be matched, but we were anticipating that it would come. You never know when it's going to happen. And so we were in the middle of that process when we decided to do a adoption photo shoot, just kind of holding a sign between us saying we're adopting. And we were going to ask friends to share that image out there, to just put it out there that we were looking. And if anybody was looking to make a plan, they should get in touch with us. Mm-hmm. And so we did this photo shoot. That night, the photographer actually turned all the photos around to us same day. It was amazing. And then we stayed up all night designing this blog post about our journey.
Section on our site. So we had just a small personal blog at the time, just kind of keeping, again, people who were supporting our missionary work, keeping them up to date on stuff, just family members, just family stuff, And so, we had a little section about the adoption and the fundraiser and a big post announcing it.
Yep. And then we had to catch a flight the next morning to go to some training down in Florida. So we stayed up all night. Right before we left for the airport, we pushed publish on this blog post. And when we got off the airplane, 6 hours later, we had about 15,000 people had visited our blog because so many friends had shared it. And then that night, as we are, hitting our heads on the pillow, I heard a ding on my phone. And it was a message from someone ultimately connecting us with the birth mother of our first daughter.
Wow, that's incredible.
That's crazy.
So it all kind of was happening at the same time. And so that adoption puzzle fundraiser, we kind of had to put the pedal to the metal there and go.
Wow. So this mother was in a situation where she couldn't be a mother and wanted to put her child up for adoption. Is that right?
I mean, there's a variety of reasons why someone would make an adoption placement for their child, but ultimately, she loved this child that she was carrying and wanted something for her that she couldn't offer at that moment in time, and chose us. And she's forever going to be our hero, and someone that we love and respect, and we talk highly of and keep in touch with in our family.
That's incredible. And how old are your children now?
Our oldest is 5.5. We have 3.5, and then 1.5.
Wow, you guys are right in the thick of it.
Yeah. Just this week, I got the 5.5-year-old to vacuum for me, and I'm like, yes, somebody's doing something.
Oh, wow! So you guys built up this savings through increasing your income, decreasing your expenses, and some help from the community. Each time, was it nearly $50,000 for each one of these, and then you just repeat the process all over again? Talk me through that.
So the expenses for each one, gosh, they differ. I think the first go around it was $25,000. The second time was $37,000, and the last time was about $20,000.
Wow.
So
that was him saying "wow," not me, by the way, everybody. That was Jonathan. I think he's reminding himself.
And the first time that we used the increasing our income, decreasing the expenses and fundraising. The second, when we had 4 months to prepare. The second time we had 3 months to prepare, and it was just a complete surprise situation where we were watching Friends one night, and then I saw that there was an adoption opportunity that came up. And I thought, hey, let's just toss our picture over and put a couple words in about our family. And then the next day,
And it was mostly just like to say we've done it, because we were, yeah, we should, it's probably time we should look to be adopting again. And so it's more of a like, well, you can't say, if you don't do anything, you can't say, like, you can't kind of complain about it or whatever, that it hasn't happened yet. So it's like, I guess we'll put something in, not that anything will happen.
and
then
we had literally just moved states like 3 weeks prior.
So it means all our paperwork, all our approvals and checks and all
didn't count anymore.
It's like it never happened.
And so the next day we get a phone call saying that we've been chosen again. And we had 3 months to prepare. And then, and we did a similar thing where we decreased expenses. We increased our income with some side hustles. And then we did a little bit of fundraising for that. And then the third one, we had 2 months to prepare. It was also a surprise situation.
Yeah.
The theme here is just surprise with less time to prepare. Yeah. But by the time our third daughter came to us, we didn't really lean on the fundraising. We had started our business. Our business was 6 months old, and we decided to have a launch to help bring her home, because we now had a business with, that's a lever that you can really pull and bring home a decent amount of money. And so we held a launch, and a lot of people helped us promote the launch and get the word out there. And we brought in just enough.
That's incredible. That's incredible. So over the time period of, your oldest is 5.5 and your youngest is 1.5, you guys have had different situations with your income, with your business. When did you guys start your business?
That was 2016?
2017.
Okay.
Sorry, November of 2017.
Awesome. So that wasn't around for the first child, and then you guys transitioned into your business and have figured out a way to grow your income from there and build your family. I think this is an incredible story. You mentioned side hustles for the second one. What kind of side hustles were you guys doing in between your full-time working side and then your full-time business?
I'll let Jonathan's number one side hustle. Well, he's a graphic designer, so he builds websites and does graphic work for people. So that's one of his biggest and probably most well-paid side hustle. But you have an affinity for dumpster diving.
Ooh, let's hear about this one, Jonathan.
Okay. So this started early in our relationship. The first place we lived, we lived right by the dumpster
in a college town.
So like you could so just driving in every day, you could see if there was anything there. So I think this is when we were heavy trying to get out of debt, super creative, trying to get out as fast as we could. And so just sitting like next to the dumpster was like a big multi-part computer desk thing, a couple chairs. It's like I just drug them inside and then put them on Craigslist. I think you came home that they're like, "What's this?" I was like, Don't worry. It's from the garbage, but it won't be here for very long." So we turned that around. That's how it kind of all got started. But yeah, I'll be taking the dog for a walk or whatever it is, and see something.
Probably his most profitable find was in a new build neighborhood. He found a king sleigh bed in perfect perfect condition. We actually used it for a year. It was beautiful. And then we wanted to get something else, so we sold it for like $350.
Boom.
I am all about reusing and recycling. As long as we put a little, Lysol on it or something, you're back in business, right?
You definitely have to clean it. That's for sure.
Yeah. So that was your favorite side hustle. I, at the time, was doing some freelance speaking. And so just some speaking gigs that I would grab here and there would help us add to the adoption fund.
Yeah. And then also it's probably the other two where I'd make wedding programs. So people have a kind of a big, more elaborate wedding, kind of want to describe what's going on at different parts of the ceremony and all the stuff in the church. I have a wedding program that I made for our wedding. I think it has over 36 footnotes of like what's going on and why you're standing up or why you're sitting down or what's the deal with the incense and all that stuff.
Oh,
so
great.
These might not translate to everybody else. We just leaned into them and found a way to bring home extra money with them.
Absolutely. And that's something people can do, is think about what their unique strengths are and see how you can monetize from that. This is a beautiful story. Thank you so much for doing this. Where's the best place for people to connect with you and listen to your podcast?
Yeah, just check us out at walletwin.com. So you want to win with your money. So walletwin.com, and then pretty much on social media, just search WalletWin. It's all one word.
You'll find us.
Yep.
Thank you both so much for doing this, Jonathan and Amanda. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Sure thing.
Thanks for having us.